Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, I'm Kristen Don One, and I am back with another video. Finally, Carmelo Anthony, Mr. Melo, has been traded from the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he'll be going. His new home will be with the Atlanta Hawks. Now, the Atlanta Hawks are going to send Dennis Schroder. He's a point guard for the Atlanta Hawks. He makes like $15 million a year. I think he's got like 3 or 4 more years on his deal. I believe it's 3. As well as another player. He's really not significant. And with this deal and with this move, the Atlanta Hawks are getting rid of 2 players they've been dying to get rid of because they've been changing the infrastructure of the Atlanta Hawks. About 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I remember them hiring the coach, the assistant coach for the Spurs as their head coach, and he was implementing players that are not necessarily stars, but are system players. All right. And they finally got rid of 2 of those players. They've been moving these players from the Atlanta Hawks for some time now. Now, what this means for the Oklahoma City Thunder, they finally got rid of Carmelo Anthony. They've been desperately trying to move Carmelo Anthony. There's no takers for Carmelo Anthony due to his contract and his production. His production has slipped, but I do believe most of the slippage has to do with the fact of, him being an ISO player, as well as Paul George, not to mention Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is the biggest ISO player. He demands the ball the most. And Carmelo Anthony could never, resonate with them 2 players because they are heavily ISO players. Now, Paul George really wasn't as much as a big time ISO player. He could, you could put Paul George into any system and he's going to flourish and thrive in it. But when you're talking about Russell Westbrook is a big time ISO player who demands the ball the most. Okay. Now, what this move means for both teams, obviously the Atlanta Hawks, do not see a future with Carmelo Anthony. They're going to waive him. They're going to buy him out, so to say. And Carmelo Anthony has some places he's possibly wanting to go to. Now, Miami has emerged as the front runner to land Carmelo Anthony. Now, I know a lot of people out there thinking that, he's going to the Houston Rockets, him and Chris Paul, as well as James Harden. But I feel like Carmelo Anthony saying, hey, look, I don't want to do this all over again. I don't want to make this a part 2 when I try to go to OKC. Look how it turned out for me with OKC. I think the same thing is going to happen to him with the Houston Rockets. He will be starting, but his role is going to be changed and altered. He can't heavily depend on the ISO play, and he's going to be a spot-up shooter. Carmelo Anthony is really not a spot-up shooter. He's an ISO player, and yes, sometimes and in some plays, he can suck the life out of a ball and suck the time out of the shot clock. But that's how Carmelo Anthony worked. And I really don't see Carmelo Anthony going to the Houston Rockets because he tried this with OKC and he had egg all on his face. So to me, I feel like the Miami Heat are going to be the front runners in landing Carmelo Anthony. All right. Now, what does this mean for the 2 players that I mentioned earlier? OKC is planning on keeping Dennis Schroder. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He's going to play alongside Westbrook. And, they're going to alternate. They're going to change roles throughout the season. They're going to do some experimenting, because he too is a 1, but he can also play the 2. Now, you're going to see a couple of packages and a couple of lineups where he becomes the point guard and, Russell can move down to the 2. And you're going to see a lot of matchups where Russell Westbrook is going to be the point guard and he's going to come off the bench to give Russell Westbrook some time to rest up. Okay, he's going to be he's going to be his aide on that level. You may see some packages where Russell Westbrook is clearly the 1, and Dennis is going to be the 2. So they're going to experiment throughout the season to figure out what matchup fits best for these 2 players, because both of these players, he was a 1. Dennis was a 1 with the Atlanta Hawks, and they already have a 1 with Russell Westbrook. Okay, so they're going to do a little experimenting, see how it works, see how it fits, see how it coexists. And there is a possibility that they could trade him, but I really don't see it, because I think since he's always, when you talk about Dennis, he's always been throughout his career in a system. And I think by him going to OKC, once again, that's a system that he should flourish and thrive in. Okay? Now, Mike, he's going to be traded to the 76ers. And in return, the 76ers are going to give something to the OKC Thunder, the OK City Thunder. It's not going to be a grade A talent, but it's going to be someone that can contribute off the bench, okay? But that's what's going down, that's what's transpiring, and that's what's happening today. But guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Dom One, and I am out of here. Deuces.